What is good? We're back. We've got wide receiver, we got sits, we got starts, we got ranks, we got tiers, we got matchups. And for just 3 easily monthly payments. No, I'm just kidding. I got my man Chev here. We're going to talk through some wide receiver sit starts for week 8, give you some tiers, everything you need to be prepared for your matchups. Wednesday, October 22nd. Chev, how you doing?
Listen, I personally thought you were going to refer everybody to AJ Brown's book club or, Troy Aikman's hot yoga. I didn't know if they were a sponsor now or something like that. So,
no, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're on the way. All right.
Yeah.
It's good vibes. I got my Golden Girl shirt on.
Hey.
Yeah.
Team Blanche, let's go.
Thug life. Hell yeah.
Hose up, bees down.
Hey, but look, I'm super excited to get into this today. Glad to be, not by myself just talking to myself for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So, I'm super pumped. This is great. Starting off, we're gonna run through this, do sit starts for every single matchup. We've got some week 8 buys. We got some solid teams on buys, and it's quite the largest. Maybe this is the largest bye week so far. Because I'm looking around at some lineups going, WTF, what am I going to do? And so we got Seahawks on a bye. We got Jags on a bye. We got Cardinals on a bye. We got Lions on a bye. Raiders on a bye. Who cares? And we got the Rams on a bye. So some big name, big killers in your lineup. But we're going to go through every matchup and find if we can find particularly some suitable replacements for those and kind of who we like, who we don't like this week. We got the model as well in our back pocket. So, Chev, you ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it, baby.
All right, let's jump into it. We're going to start with Browns at Patriots. In that matchup,
can I take it back?
Go ahead.
I said, can I take it back?
Yeah.
I said I was ready. We start all with the Patriots and the Browns. That does not spark joy.
Nope, not particularly. So on the visiting side, we have the Browns, and we got Judy, and I don't even know if anybody else necessarily qualifies. We got Bond and Thrash over there. We're probably not starting either one of those guys if we can help it. And quite frankly, I don't really want to start Jerry Judy unless I absolutely have to.
Oh man, how the mighty have fallen. So we're right back to square one with Jerry Judy, where we're just hoping that somebody's there that can deliver him the football. As it is right now, he's unplayable to me. I'm not the biggest Jerry Judy fan, but this is not a matchup in any way, shape, or form or scenario where I would be excited about that.
No, they've got 2 really good lockdown corners. And Dylan Gabriel is TBD. So if I can stay away from this matchup, I definitely am. On the flip side, we have New England, who's actually been, heating up quite a bit in the basketball season. NBA Jam, shout out to you. We got Diggs, we got Boutte, and we got, maybe Pop Douglas. But I'm probably staying away from Pop Douglas, right? We're not going to play him, even though I thought going into it, McDaniels, slot, Pop could get hot. He had a couple of spots here and there, but if we can help it, we're not going to play him. We're firing the shit out of Diggs, though, right?
Absolutely. Now, I mean, Diggs is back to his old tricks again. Like we're not going to sit here and act like Diggs is just regular. So that's a big part of Drake May, just like with Josh Allen when he broke out. He's doing the same thing he's giving him a reliable, easy target. He's killing versus man coverage and zone coverage. He's averaging like 3 and 4 yards per route run. I mean, it's absolutely outstanding. So I'm playing Diggs with confidence until further notice.
Yeah. And Diggs is going to slot right in there to tier 3. He's at about wide receiver 14 right now. Now the Cleveland matchup isn't great. They've got some good corners of their own. They've got a solid defense, but still playing Diggs with pretty good confidence. And then where do we slot him with Boutte? Because if you're, again, got some bye weeks or some injuries or whatever, Boutte has been a pretty viable option for, a good chunk of the season, and he's been pretty hot in the last couple.
Well, listen, the Booty Warriors' time to shine is now. I mean, this dude has done everything right. in this Vrabel regime. It looks like he's grown up. He's finally paying off the potential of what he was. Every single time, he's one of the most efficiently targeted. If you go back to like when Khalil Shakir broke out, and it was like, man, every single time they throw him the ball, something good happens. And we're like, hey, maybe they're going to throw on the ball more. And last year happened. So I think we're kind of in the middle of that. This is still a very young team. They're still kind of learning who they are. So I would play. I could definitely. There are much worse plays this week. I'd play Kayshon Boutte. Let me ask you this: would you play Kayshon Boutte over Jerry Jeudy this week?
I'd have to consider it. I think Jeudy hasn't been anything worth a fart this year, right? For the most part. So I trust May in this offense a whole lot more than I trust Gabriel in that offense. So I think I would, and I have him ranked over him. And we got Boutte coming in at WR 34 this week. So I would. You feel the same way?
Yes. The situation is enough. The situations are so drastically different that I feel comfortable with this, no matter what the run out for Kayshon Boutte is.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's about it from that matchup. Let's go to the next one. We got Bills at Carolina. Bills licking their wounds from a previous loss in Atlanta. They go on the road to another NFC South team, Carolina, who's been, hot, but probably not really scaring anybody. They're going to be down Bryce Young. Let's hop over to the Bills side real quick. We got Khalil Shakir, we got Keon Coleman, and Josh Palmer's probably not going to play. There's, probably not a whole other big, large faction of anybody else I want to play in this matchup. So where's Khalil Shakir kind of fall for you here?
I mean, you almost certainly, if you've held Khalil Shakir during this bipocalypse, you have to play him. Like that's if you were short Matt, if you short a Devontae Adams or a Puka Nacua or Travis Hunter or Brian Thomas, if you've held Khalil Shakir, if you didn't drop him, this is what you're playing him for.
Yeah.
If you weren't playing him, if you're already playing him, you're not benching him because of this matchup. And if you weren't playing him because you had better options, then chances are you have to play him this week. So he's kind of a must flex.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I don't hate that at all. And then how about the Keon Coleman side of things? To me, again, if you absolutely have to have him, he's going to be outside of like tier 6 for me. He's coming in at wide receiver, like 37-ish range. Honestly, I would probably rather play Juwan Jennings for sure. So I'd bump him up to wide receiver 37. So yeah, I want to see it from Keon Coleman before I put him in my lineup. Again, if you're really struggling, throw him in there. But that's kind of how I feel about Keon.
Yeah, there's just there's no good reason, no good thing that you can point to. I mean, his yards per route run versus zone is abysmal. He's not commanding targets. If there was ever, week 1, Sammy Watkins walked so Keon Coleman could fly. And that's what appears to be going on right now.
Looking for more FFD? Sign up for Patreon and get access to our rankings, projections, ADP, an extra show every single week, and more for your pleasure.
Not a whole lot of love for Keon from me this week unless I have to. On the flip side, how much does Andy Dalton put into the sit and start for your pleasure here? We got Teteroa and McMillan. I mean, auto play for me, and we've seen Andy come in and hyper target somebody, and it feels like if it's going to be somebody, it's going to be McMillan, right?
Yeah, back-to-back 5 target weeks. And, you alluded to it before. Xavier Legette had the big game. I don't know if that was due to, Teteroa, the big pineapple, having Sauce Gardner on him, or if they just, the teams are just adjusting and doing more to take him away in coverage now. So I expect a bigger game from him. So he's almost a must play, but I've been there. I mean, it's 25% target share. We're talking about him averaging over 5 yards per route run from the slot since week 3. It's everything is there. It's just it hasn't quite clicked. His highest finish is wide receiver 13 in full PPR, and that's not quite the ceiling that you're looking for yet, but this is a capable player who's awesome. He just hasn't done all of the awesome stuff yet, or it hasn't happened on a national scale.
Right. And the Bills are waiting for their rookie corner to get back as well. They haven't been particularly great in the cornerback situation. So I like Tet now. Andy could be like, hey, it's a Coke party up in this B, and we're hammering him or Xavier Legette, but we're going to put our faith in the big pineapple. We got him coming in at wide receiver 15 here. All right. So Xavier Legette, what are we doing with him? Sit, start?
Desperation in the same way that you're playing a Jerry Jeudy this week.
Yeah, I might. Yeah. I would almost. I don't know. I don't even. The words can't come out of my mouth that I'd almost rather play Xavier Legette.
I know, man. So we're coming off of a career high for Xavier Legette: 11 targets, 9 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Is it signal or is it noise? We don't know. But you're gonna have to find out. If he's on your roster, there's a good chance that you're going to have to play him this week. So he's in the start category for me.
Yeah. All right. How about Jalen Coker? For me, that's going to be a sit. I got to see a little more before I plug him back into the lineup. Right. I want to see him get some catches, see him run around on the field. It could be a bummer this week that he goes off and he's not in your lineup, but I'll take that. I'll take that pain and play it next week.
Zero chance that I'm playing Jalen Coker until further notice. Yeah,
I'm with you. All right, let's go to the next matchup. We got New York at Philadelphia. Jackson Dart been quite the spark plug for this offense. Wan'Dale Robinson been the de facto guy to get all of this love, right?
Yeah,
must start Wan'Dale, right?
Wan'Dale has entered into must-start territory. He was a Chef GPT Pleasure Chest champion last week. I like what I'm seeing from the way that they're using him now that they've gone from just the super scam targets, more the Khalil Shakir right at the line of scrimmage things, down to more downfield, real wide receiver stuff that he put on tape early on, like in Kentucky. So this is, I'm playing him. That's, again, if you're in a position where you're asking whether or not you should start Wan'Dale Robinson, you should start Wan'Dale Robinson.
Right. We got him at wide receiver 28 right now, coming in there, I believe tier 5. And then anybody else in this Giants organization right now that you want to play? Slayton's not going to play. So that would probably leave somebody like a little Jordan Humphreys in there, or little Jordan Humphrey, or I don't think anybody else. I don't think you want to play anybody else, and I'm probably not playing little Jordan either.
No, little Jordan Humphrey is going to be a sit. He's going to have to sit his ginormous ass on the bench this week.
And then on the flip side, Philly, you got AJ Brown, you got Devonta Smith. We're playing both of those guys. Obviously they just had coming off one of their best weeks that we've seen all season. It's kind of been a Jekyll and Hyde performance, but got to plug them at this point and hope that this ball continues rolling and this offensive coordinator has maybe taken a step forward and figuring things out. Now we just got to get this run game going.
Yeah, got to plug them is crazy, Casey.
Yeah, got to plug them. No Diddy. Wide receiver 9 and 10, respectively.
Incredible matchup. And Paulson Adebo, Giants corner, may not be available this week. So, yeah, that's just it's wheels up for the passing game options for Philadelphia this week.
Right. All right. We've got Bears at Ravens. Bears coming in on a bit of a heater here. Caleb probably coming off of one of his not as great performances, worst performances, I guess you could say, of the season here. But Rome Odunze fired up with confidence, right?
Hell yeah. Listen, this is here's the thing. The only reason that we're even having this conversation right now is because he got a touchdown called back because of an illegal motion or something like that. Or
garbage.
Yeah, an illegal shift or whatever. It had nothing to do with him like pushing off or doing. So we had the touchdown. We're not even having this conversation if that touchdown counts. So don't be reactionary. Be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Rome Odunze is in your lineup. Shut up about it. I'd be more interested if you're, we're Luther Burden III, guys. What what's your level of comfort with having him as a desperation flex?
Burden, I'm probably not going to do that. I'd probably desperate up a different tree if I had to. I'm gonna stick with Rome. He's at wide receiver 12, tier 3, and then obviously DJ Moore would be more in my desperation flex zone, honestly. Right? I mean, I'm not playing Luther Burden, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I was like, all right, we got to get to, where is the bottom during the apocalypse? Like, are we starting Luther Burden and then we're going to be just up for 48 hours doing Crystal? Like, what are we doing? How dangerous do you want to live here?
We got DJ, just to tell you where we got DJ Moore, kind of where he's at. DJ Moore kind of one above like an Alec Pierce, right? Wide receiver 32. So
yes.
We're getting desperate in there where, he's living in the Butte Pierce world. And I would play Tez Johnson over DJ Moore, right? That's just how I feel.
Absolutely. I'm willing to live with the results. I got some stuff for Tez Johnson.
Okay. We're getting there. On the flip side, Ravens coming in, still no Lamar, not looking promising maybe for this week. But Zay Flowers, got to fire him up.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got to play Zay Flowers this week. Zay Flowers has been one of the most effective guys against man coverage and cover 3, which, Dennis Allen tends to run a ton of. So Zay Flowers, firing him up. Everybody else, fire them into the sun.
Get rid of him. So, but like, I would much rather fire up a Bateman as a play than a Luther Burden, right?
Yeah, you got to fire up the master whenever you get a chance.
Yeah. So, just to check in on Flowers, we got him at wide receiver 27. The rest of these guys aren't ranked for me. Nuke and Bateman, but Bateman would be somebody in a pinch that I'd rather that I could see having to fire up if I was hurt, and but not ranked or tiered necessarily for me this week with those guys. So Zay Flowers is really the only person I'm interested in playing in this lineup for real out of this matchup. So
correct.
Niners at Texans. Not sure if Brock's going to play. Doesn't look great, and it doesn't necessarily look like Ricky Pearsall is going to play either. That doesn't look super promising at the moment. If Pearsall does play, we've got him at wide receiver 19, so we like him quite a bit. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to play. The other wide receivers in this game, if Pearsall doesn't play, you got to bump Kendrick Bourne up, a good bit, right?
He would be in my top 30 for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Jennings, right? You got to bump Jennings up.
Jennings. I would have Bourne ahead of if knowing what we know, that Kyle Shanahan said it's going to be a reach for Brock Purdy to play this week. We're getting more Mac Jones. We're getting more Kendrick Bourne if we're getting more Mac Jones. So I would have Kendrick Bourne ahead of Juwan Jennings this week.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah. And listen, if Jennings was healthy and out there doing his thing, but we know that there's been a myriad of health issues with Jennings right now where he's just not quite 100%, that Jennings we saw for a chunk of last year and we've seen in big parts of this 49ers organization through runs. So that's why I have him a little bit lower this week and not starting with as much confidence. But again, like if you're in the jam, like definitely over a Luther Burden, definitely over a Rashad Bateman kind of player this week for Jennings and Bourne. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. On the other side, and Demarcus Robinson would be, I'd rather play him than a Luther Burden in a potential. I got to play somebody. He's had the case of the dropsies a little bit here, but don't sleep on the Texans defense. Pretty solid squad over there. Kind of tough to throw it around against. Nico potentially questionable here. I don't know if he's going to play, but if he does play, of course you're playing Nico Collins, right?
With the concussion, yeah, it's a super late Monday night game. And then he's dealing with a concussion. So I don't think I would anticipate not seeing him this week, but we'll see. Just keep an eye on the practice reports is what I'm trying to say. Right. But he's awesome versus, what San Francisco likes to do. Right. We got him at wide receiver 7 if he does play here. Could be a little risky. So again, monitor that going in.
And then Christian Kirk hasn't really been playing. He's out. Not playing Xavier Hutchinson. Noel had a nice game in this last game. Would Noel be a more like desperation kind of play in this situation?
He's probably at the if no Nico, then yeah, he would probably crawl into that Juwan Jennings, Jerry Jeudy, Josh Downs range.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see where Noel lined up. I didn't go back and check that, but slot corner being a spot for San Francisco that can be an issue. So that could be a good matchup to kind of monitor and just check in him. But Noel could be somebody that you keep as, or if you're a Nico owner, maybe even like, hey, maybe Noel doesn't make your lineup, but hey, if Nico doesn't play, you'd at least be able to throw somebody in there. So, and then Higgins, probably not, right? I mean, what do you think?
It's just not happening right now, man.
Right. It's Xavier Hutchinson over Higgins if no Nico, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay. So those would be back burner guys if Nico doesn't play. But you don't know until Monday night. So that's kind of a shaky ground to be on there. So mostly stay away. Those would be kind of Nico back burner plays for me. All right. Next matchup, we got Bucks at Saints. Always a fiery matchup despite the records, right? Excited about this one. Egbuka, just a stud, maybe playing through a little bit of something right now, but confidently firing him up, right?
If the hamstring's still attached to the bone, he's playing, and he's going to be in my lineup.
Yeah. So we got him at WR6 if playing. And then, obviously Sterling Shepard could be somebody break glass in case of emergency. He's kind of sitting right outside of our rankings right now. But Tez Johnson's certainly the more excitable player right now. What's your thoughts on Tez Johnson this week? He's basically, seemingly with Godwin, God knows what, and Evans, done for the season like this, he's becoming an every week WR3, WR2 potentially.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver. He's a wide receiver 3 with wide receiver high, like wide receiver 2 upside. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited because I've been so sad about us getting robbed of the Tank Dell experience, but then it's like that the end of football life with Sean Taylor, where they're like, oh, and then I saw him running down the street, and I was like, is that Sean? This is it. Like, this is the reincarnation of Tank Dell. This dude is excellent. So he's averaging 2.43 yards per route run from the slot in the last 2 weeks. He's got the highest fantasy points per route run the last 2 weeks on the team versus cover 3, which the Saints play a ton of. Shout out to Mr. Cat Cow. What's the dude's name? They used to be the Joe Staley or Brandon Staley, the Chargers coach. Yeah, I was out there doing Cat Cow on the. Yeah, so all this is lining up for Tez Johnson. He had 9 targets last game. He had he scored in 2 of the last 3 games and been important. He's an important part of the offense now, just due to attrition. And now we don't know. Jalen McMillan is still in a neck brace as of 2 weeks ago. So he could be sticky. So I just wanted to get that out there because people are going to think, I got a lot of questions on the waiver wire. Why did I want Tez Johnson over Cam Johnson? And these are the reasons why. We just have more data points than I did then outside of his snap share and his involvement the previous week.
Yeah. So we got him slotting in at wide receiver 30, 31 here, kind of right around the Shakir. And I almost he's way more fun to play than Shakir. So same tier. Other side, we got Olave, of course, firing up Olave. You got to be excited about it. And Shaheed, where would Shaheed kind of come in for you in this mix? I think he's kind of in that same ish tier that we just talked about with the Tez Johnsons and the Bouttes for me.
Man, it's all happening it's happening for Rashid Shaheed. 9 targets last week. 2 weeks ago, I believe he had a 23-point game. He scored an 87-yard touchdown. So he's getting more volume. He's a real receiver now, and he's averaging 3.8 yards per route run from the slot since week 4. And he's doing everything. It's just not translating to fantasy points because it's just not translating all the way to fantasy points. But we'll get boom spike week. So he's he's in your lineup this week as a wide receiver 3.
Yeah. Or maybe a flex play if you need it or something like that. But yeah, with everything going on, absolutely.
Be sure to follow us on the Twitters, the Instagrams, and the TikToks. Slide in them comments and help us beat the algorithm up. Like
All right, Cowboys at Broncos, fun matchup, interesting game. I don't know who the hell the Broncos are, and I don't know who the hell the Cowboys are, and we might not leave this game with knowing who either one is after it either. But we got CeeDee Lamb and we got George Pickens. Both of those are must plays, even though we know that there's an elite corner on the other side, right? So how do you handle that when we're going into these kind of matchups with a good defense and an elite corner that can shut down?
I look at my lineup. And I'm like, guess he's going to play. He's going to have to face Patrick Surtain. And I don't care, not one bit. The elite receivers are still going to make plays. Those guys get paid too. Patrick Surtain is elite. It does not mean that he can't be beaten. If you want to know what I mean, just go look up the last time that George Pickens and Pat Surtain played. You actually watch what happened. Like, he held his own. So if he's going to be lined up on him, then maybe you temper your expectations. Maybe George hits a 50-yard play that he gets called back. Or if either one of the CeeDee Lamb or, George Pickens are lined up against Riley Moss, it's Christmas.
Right. Yeah. And, Surtain has started moving around a little more. Is that right? And so maybe you see a little bit different alignments, just trying to, down in, down out, moving those guys around a little bit to scheme balls away from Surtain. But there are certainly going to be times where they go at Surtain and Surtain makes a play and the other one makes a play. So I'm with you on that one. CD's a stud. He's going to, model like them in tier 1. We're keeping him in tier 1. So we're going there. And then George Pickens, we got him in tier 2 at wide receiver 8 too. So fire them both up. I like it. And I'm not really playing any other wide receiver on the Dallas side. And then on the Broncos side, Cortland Sutton, of course, just the OG, just a stud. We got him coming in at wide receiver 11. He's starting off tier 3 for us. And then Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, again, by the Mageddon situation, some injuries, the matchup, both of these guys seem playable. I favor Troy Franklin more than Mims currently. You feel the same?
Yes. Yeah. Troy Franklin just had 10 targets last week, man. Mm-hmm. And he's got a higher targets per route run the last 2 weeks when he's lined up out wide than Cortland Sutton does. So I don't know what the Jekyll and Hyde usage is, but yeah, I would be much more confident in Troy Franklin.
Wide receiver 43 and 46 respectively right now for those two guys. So, like you said, kind of in the range in that area. So, all right, Dolphins at Atlanta. We've got Jalen Waddle obviously coming off a terrible performance. The Dolphins coming off a terrible performance. I don't exactly know what's going to take place in this one. I would expect a slight bounce back, especially because they're going to be indoors on turf. This does seem like formidable, very plus matchup for Jalen Waddle to be able to get his skill set on full display. So I'm still firing up Waddle with full confidence. Same for you, Chev.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a get right spot for both teams, ironically enough, somehow. I don't I guess it's just the vibes of, hey, you've got to do something. I mean, it could be more embarrassment for the Dolphins. I mean, if I had to lean one side, that's where I would go. But yeah, I'm going to fire him up. I'm even cool with firing Malik Washington up. There's another injury, and we might get some more Malik Washington.
Yeah. I mean, in a kick and punt return league, you can definitely fire Malik Washington up without any problem, right? Because he's going to get you 10, 12 points when you're getting the yardage from kick and punt returns, right?
Yes.
I have a league where that, and he's been fine for a wide receiver 3 or flex play if you need him. So that's a little caveat there to be kind of just keeping your eye on in leagues. He's somebody who's great in that spot, and they've got to get him more involved. They have to. He has to be a part of this offense. He's good enough. They like him enough. Get him involved. I'm with you. Malik Washington, somewhere down around, 48, 50-ish receiver for me, 51, somewhere in there. So not necessarily going to be in the tier rankings per se, but somebody that I think you can still play. And then on the other side, Drake London, fire him up, be excited about it, and, getting Miami here. And then Mooney, probably in a pretty good spot here too, to kind of get back on track to see some of what we saw last week, right? So how are you feeling about this Atlanta wide receiver group?
This is a time where, you could feel comfortable with Mooney as a wide receiver 3 spot or a flex in a start 3 wide receiver league where you got flexes, multiple flexes, this is where you would play a guy like Darnell Mooney because it could be a boat.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, high ranked, I think wide receiver 5 for Drake London, and then, 40-ish for Mooney right now, 44, I believe. But I could see him climbing a little higher depending on some injuries and depending where they are. Mooney or Judy?
Mooney.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. All right. I like it. All right. Let's go to the next matchup. We got Titans at Colts.
Do we have to?
Yeah. Are you playing? I mean, if Calvin Ridley plays, I would give him a whirl this week, I think. How are you playing the Calvin Ridley and the Tennessee receivers?
I mean, the Colts give up the most fantasy points to wide receivers over the last 3 weeks, like the most receptions. This should be a good matchup, but I mean, you can play these guys as absolute desperation flexes. That's about where I would have him. Maybe if Calvin Ridley was healthy, but then again, I'm so hurt by just the general underperformance that I'm at a point where I'm looking at Luther Burden in the lineup and saying, I'm not going to let Calvin Ridley hurt me again.
Same. I will say that DK is on our guy Quality Stats coach. I was open this week, so he was doing some good things out there. So there's a possibility of a glimmer of hope that he gets one, and the premise of that is like going back in the film and analytics kind of getting together and saying, hey, he had a bunch of separation, and the film saying that he was open, and the coaches are going to go back that, and maybe he could get a little bit more this week. I wouldn't be, unless I absolutely have to, firing him up, AO Manor same way. I don't necessarily want to go in there getting too greedy. I don't really want to play any of them if I don't have to, but Calvin Ridley would be the one if he goes.
He's a post waiver stash for me. I mentioned that on the waiver show earlier this week. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's got elite athleticism. Tyler Lockett's been released. This is an elite matchup. I mean, Kenny Moore's a good corner, but this is an elite matchup in terms of what they're allowing from a fantasy perspective. And so just stash it, see what happens. And you don't burn waiver priority or any fab, and you can drop him if it's a nothing burger.
Right. I think it's a good play. We got the Colts on the other side. Pittman been rock solid all year long. Absolutely playing Pittman this week. Right. We got him at wide receiver 26. Josh Downs. I'm playing Pierce over Downs. How do you feel about that?
Yes. Until further notice, Pierce is going to be the de facto wide receiver 2. He has bigger play potential, and he's getting volume now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got him at wide receiver 33. So locked into a pretty solid play with Pierce. And then Josh Downs is, kind of near in that Troy Franklin sort of range right now where, I think it can be good. We've seen a little bit of volume coming back his way. He didn't play last week. There's some more risk associated with him, but there's potential there for Downs. But give me Pierce and give me Pittman and Downs only if I have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we got Green Bay at Pittsburgh. This is the Sunday nighter. On the Green Bay side, Romeo Doubs has been, their best, most reliable receiver for sure through this entire season. So what are we thinking about him and his matchup this week?
I mean, Romeo Doubs has basically been a wide receiver 1 for the last, 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I mean, that's buoyed by the Dallas game, but you're not benching Romeo Doubs if you're affected by the bye weeks, you're not benching Romeo Doubs this week.
Yeah.
And you feel decent about it at this point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we got him at wide receiver 30, and it's not a terrible matchup. And I like that. And then Matthew Golden, probably the only other wide receiver I'm interested in playing on this team. I think there comes some risk with playing Golden, but obviously there's some reward that could be there as well. Coming in at wide receiver 36.
We're so close. We're so close to Matthew Golden being discussed in a completely different light than he is right now. So, yeah, I'll play Matthew Golden this week. It's, I can't be upset I can't be upset about that. Like it's bound to happen. It's a matter of when, not if.
Yeah. We got DK Metcalf on the other side fire him up, and then nobody else for the Pittsburgh Steelers at wide receiver, right?
No, sir. Not at all. Not even if there's a fire. Play one of the tight ends. You know, you could double stack tight ends in the flex before you play another Steelers wide receiver. Arthur Smith would love you for that.
DK wide receiver 16 this week. So, all right, we got the Commanders at the Chiefs. Probably going to be another bloodbath for who's ever on the recipient end of the Chiefs this week, and no Jaden Daniels. So you're getting Mariota, who's been okay in his duty, but in general, the Commanders underachieving this year, got some issues, got some problems, and just right off the rip, we don't know if Terry's playing. He hasn't played in a while, and Debo didn't play last week, so you might be up a creek in a hurry over here. So if either one of those guys play, you fire them up, right?
Yes, this is their must plays if they, if they're active.
We don't have Terry ranked this week because we haven't seen it. Debo, we do have. He's at wide receiver 20. So, we like some possibility of Debo being out there, getting a bunch of volume and turning it into a couple of things here and there. Obviously, Kansas City's great defense. They got Jalen Lane as well as kind of another guy that you could play. But for me, the other play, if you need to play somebody over here, is Chris Moore, right? Our quality stats guy liked Chris Moore quite a bit. Joseph liked Chris Moore. This is a tough matchup for sure. Nobody likes to play the Chiefs, but I got to put a little bit of respect on Chris Moore's name, the old veteran receiver, coming kind of in at that 45 to 40 range for Chris Moore.
Desperation flex, probably. I mean, most definitely playing him over Luther Burden if Terry and Debo are out, and then you can kind of bump him up to around that Josh Downs range if neither one of those guys play.
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, I mean, because I don't love the matchup as much. If there was a better matchup, I would definitely put him above Downs, but I think it's a good call. On the other side, Rashee Rice is basically, I could tier one him, but we're going to keep him right outside of there just for now because I think he's just that damn good, and they're going to get him. He didn't even play the fourth quarter last week, and it was ridiculous. So stud there. Xavier Worthy, what's your thoughts on him this week?
I don't know what to make of it because I think that that game was not indicative of how the usage is going to shake out on a week in, week out basis. So I expect more usage from Xavier Worthy. I think if this game stays competitive, he's going to be one of the guys that breaks it open because the Commanders have been more susceptible to allowing explosive plays. So, yeah, I mean, I'm confident. I'm very confident in Xavier Worthy to have much better week than he did last week for fantasy.
Yeah, I kind of have him in the buy category right now for the dynasty situation. If we can get through the next 2 weeks without re-aggravating the ankle at all here, and we get to that bye week in 10, I think there's going to be what you're getting right now with the Chiefs is you're getting all the guys that they had plans for back to the plans that they had with them instead of having to jumble this thing all up and do a bunch of different things with them. So Worthy could have a great next 2 games. It could just stay, and then I would expect just an explosion after the bye week. But yeah, wide receiver 25 right this week for Worthy. So a lot of potential there this week. Hollywood Brown, I could fire up if I needed him. He's going to be in that Downs, Chris Moore-ish range, right? If you need him, you can play him. I feel okay about it. And then Tyquan Thornton would be break glass in case of emergency sort of play, right? All these guys back, he's on the shelf.
Desperation. I mean, be cool with the zero. Like playing Tim Patrick back in the day, dude.
Yeah.
Be cool with a zero, but you might get 2 touchdowns. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. We got Vikings at Chargers. This is your Thursday night game. You're firing up Jefferson. We're getting another week of Wentz, which is, you at least feel confident that the quarterback play is going to be good enough to get some balls over to Jefferson right now, right? No slight to McCarthy, but we haven't seen enough. We don't know anything, but definitely feels good for your Jefferson stock. So he's a tier 1 guy. And then Jordan Addison has been absolutely ridiculous since he came back. I know you love some Jordan Addison, Chev.
You know it, baby. I have no reason to be fearful about Jordan Addison moving forward. I mean, the only reason that I would be fearful is if JJ McCarthy took over and he was back on what he was on before, he got benched or his ankle fell off or whatever's going on right now. But Jordan Addison, 17 points a game since he's returned, 283 yards in 3 games. I can't say enough about how excited I am. You know, on the dynasty side, I was very bullish on where I had him in my rankings. So, yeah, this is all just him taking another step forward as an elite wide receiver.
Right. Yeah. And then Naylor would be, better than the Thorntons of the world to break glass in case of emergency, because this guy's been a guy, if you're watching the Dynasty channel and the P-Whopper stuff, Naylor's been on there a few times and got it. Good player. I don't know if there's enough to spread around. It'd probably have to be a little bit more of a shootout there to get Naylor involved, but he'd be kind of really, really, if you need it, kind of player, like desperation, buy mode, not a whole lot out there, pick him up and potentially play him, but for the most part, staying away. On the other side, we got the Chargers. We got Keenan Allen, Lab McConkey, and Quentin Johnston. So we've got quite the triplets of wide receivers here to kind of play with. In order, we have them ranked: Ladd, Keenan, Quentin Johnston. Feel pretty comfortable about firing any and all of these guys up this week, right?
Absolutely. This game has a chance if Carson Wentz doesn't do, the goofball super ginger mustard thing. This game has a chance to be another awesome Thursday night game.
Yeah. Yep. All right, moving on. We've got Jets, Bengals, last game of the week. And really on the Jets side, we know we don't have any Garrett Wilson. So you got Josh Reynolds, a Lazard. We got Smith. Somebody may turn up to be potentially playable here, but I don't know who it's going to be, and I don't want to find out.
Yeah, I mean, let football tell you what you're supposed to do here. There's no need to speculate. You might be into some really weird stuff if you're just trying to find a Jets receiver to start. It's not a judgment zone. I'm just saying, get some help. Yeah.
Bengals side, it's Chase and it's Higgins, and I guess Yoshivas again. If you're in a pinch, we don't have Yoshivas ranked right now. We have Chase in the top tier, and T Higgins, I believe, in tier 3.
We're not doing this with anybody else besides T Higgins and Jamar Chase. That's right. That's all.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. All right, that's gonna wrap up the sit starts for this week. Chev, you got anything else for him?
Man, that's it. All I would say is, hey, there's an easily exportable feature to put like your rankings together on League Champ. So go download that shit, please, and thank you. Google Play Store, App Store. Make sure you check that out. And if you want some more projections and modeling and all that stuff, it's all available on FFD Patreon. And we got Chev's rankings. There's all sorts of great stuff over there. Plus, you get an extra episode. Obviously, a lot more Dynasty content. But if you're on the Patreon side of things, you can ask anything you want. We do an extra show. You can hop on there and ask your redraft questions as well. So come on over, check us out. We'll catch you next time. Peace.